Good day, folks. Hope all is well with everybody. With this hard time, COVID-19, fortunately, we got to endure this. Probably here in Canada, I had a conference call this week with work, and we don't see ourselves going back to work. Maybe June, something, late May, June. Anyway, just to say, unfortunately. So, today though, what I want to talk about is vintage lenses. I do have what we call a Russian-made lens that was built, probably made in the 60s or late 50s. It's a Jupiter 11, and it's a 135 millimeter f4. Now, what I want to do with this, I want to couple this with my Panasonic Lumix S1 full frame. So I'm going to show you what I had to do, or what I needed to couple this old lens, which has the M39 millimeter thread, the old screw thread, onto my L mount, because a Panasonic S1 is a L mount. So, how do we use this? How do we do this? I'll show you in a minute. But after that, when it's all set up, there's also some setting you got to do in the camera to make sure that you take advantage of the IBIS in the camera, the shaking part, because there's no, this is all manual lens. There's no mechanical in there. There's certainly no anti-vibration in there at all. This is a 1960 or 1950. It's all mechanical, and it works fine though. I used to have this lens. I used this lens in the past with my Nikon 750, but it was totally different. It was totally different because the DSLR has a mirror, so the lens, from the distance from the lens, from the back of the lens here to the sensor, was far enough. So this was I was able to focus easily with this on a big DSLR. But on a mirrorless camera, it's a totally different story. So the sensor on the camera is closer, so the lens has to be further apart. And it gets confusing because I think I ordered 3 different adapters to make it work, and finally the third one worked. First one didn't work, didn't fit. The L mount was not, it was a cheap one from Amazon, coming from who knows where. The second one, it was decisive because it was made for 39 millimeter, and it didn't fit. Still the distance from the sensor was too close, so I couldn't focus with this. And the last one, it's a bit bigger, and you'll see in a second, it worked. But you'll see what I had to do though, what I had to purchase to make it fit. Anyway, let's get back on the table and I'll show you what this is all about. Okay, as I was saying, this is my M39 screw lens, right? Jupiter, Russian, 1950, 1960, in that time. I want to fit this onto this body, which is a full frame, my Lumix S1. What do I need to do? Basically, this is Capon, made by Capon. I ordered this from B&H. It's an M42 to L mount lens. L mount. This is an L mount. This is part of the new alliance between Sigma, Leica, and Lumix, the L mounts alliance. So, this guy fits in there, no issue. I needed this little piece here, M42, because this is an M42, so this guy needs to fit on there. So that's an M42 to M39. So basically M42 to M39. So all I needed to do Screw this in there. Right, you're gonna make sure it's nice and right, sitting at the right place. There we go. M42 to L mount. This is my L mount fitting. So basically this goes in there. Et voilà, comme ça, right? 42. And then my Lumix, mirrorless, L mount, and there we have it. I got my M42 with an M39 lens into an M42 ring onto the adapter, M42 to L mount, into the Lumix. Now what I want to show you, when I turn it on, it will ask me the focal length of the lens. It doesn't know what it is. So it says there 135, which that's what it is, because prior to doing this little video, that's what I put in the setting in the camera. So do you want to change that setting? No, it's a 135. And there we go. And now the important part is that you see this at the top here. Mirrorless with an IBIS. This has a anti-vibration in there. So meaning the sensor is absorbing the shock, you know. So you're gaining a few f-stop with this. It's active. Why is it active? Because I told the camera that I have a 135mm lens on this, and this is all manual. Focus ring. The front ring here is the aperture, and this is another ring that controls also the aperture, but without the click. It's like one of those new lens aperture with no click. So this is perfect for video, perfect for, you know, letting more light or less light, and more depth of field or less depth of field. You also have an hyperfocal distance scale on the camera, so, and it works. I tested before. So basically, no matter where you, let's say I'm at f4, well, the focal length, the distance at f4, it's very minimal. The only issue that you see here is that the lens is not aligned with the barrel, with my top. This should be basically sitting there. So how do I fix this? What I like about Capon, there's little screws here. There's one there, flathead screw, one there, one on the back. And you'll see what I do. So you basically take your little screwdriver, very small, not too big, very small screws here, and you basically loosen up. Don't have to be too loose, just a tad. It's very sensitive. Comme ça. You twist it, you put it in the right place, and you tighten this as tight as you can. You push it against the barrel, because you want to make sure that thing doesn't move once it's set. So once it's set there, you're done. You don't have to do this again. So now I can see on the top here my apofocal scale distance. There you have it, folks. So what do we shoot with this? Well, I'm inside, so what I'm going to do, and I've seen some folks posting a lot of pictures of flowers, you know, focusing, like almost like close-up macro type of shot. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to, it won't be a close-up shot, but what I want to showcase on this with this lens is the bokeh. The bokeh at f4 is just amazing. It's not a perfect lens, and there's something I have to say here. When did we qualify a good lens with sharpness. When did this happen? I don't know, but we want tack sharp photos, especially in when we do landscape. But sometimes there's a place for imperfection, smoothness, creaminess, you know, and these lenses will produce this. It's not a tack sharp lens, you know, don't get me wrong, this is not gonna replace my newer lens, but there's a place for this. If you do portrait with this 135 millimeters f4, you go to f5.6, you get the beautiful, especially if they're women, beautiful skin tone, beautiful color. It's not tack sharp, it's just perfect for portrait. So let's give it a try on flowers. I'm gonna have artificial light, and I'm gonna take some shot from a distance, because the closer I can get is 1.5 meter. You know, it won't be a close-up. I'm gonna have to crop my image so you guys can see the result that I can do with this baby here.